Great win. Certainly outstanding defensive performance. Anytime you shut out a team in our league, shows that you're playing great team defense. Our staff had a great plan, and our guys really executed it. Was pleased with the fact that we were able to, play a lot of people on defense, and they continued to execute as the game went on. Offensively, made some big plays. In Indiana State as a pressure defensive team, and as a result, it's going to be a little bit, a little bit hit and miss, offensively. But when you have an opportunity to make a big play, you've got to capitalize on that, and we did that. Thought we rushed the ball better as we got going into the game, and controlled the game very well in the second half.
All right, with that, we'll start with Nathan Zwofford. Go ahead.
My bad, clicking the wrong buttons this morning. Jeez. Morning, Coach. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Carter Bell caught his first touchdown of the season on Saturday. Had a big game with over 100 receiving yards. Just what were your thoughts on his performance?
First of all, hard to believe that he hasn't caught a touchdown yet with the number of catches that he has, but just kind of the way that it's worked out. Carter's been an unbelievably consistent performer for us over his career. He does a lot more for our football team than his statistics may show even. Has been a outstanding guy in the return game, but a guy that is a big part of our success this season and over the last several years, and a guy that we need to continue to find ways to get the football to.
Yeah, he also broke the all-time receiving yard record on Saturday. He broke the receptions record a few weeks ago against SDSU. Just overall, what has he meant to this program, and how do you see his legacy being remembered?
Yeah, I think he's going to be remembered as one of the certainly one of the best players that has played here. His consistency over a period of time, and I think his numbers speak for himself when you consider the fact that we're necessarily not a pass-first offense. And just the role that he's played, and the number of snaps that he's played, the number of wins that he's been a part of. All of that is a testimony to what he's brought to our football program over his career.
We obviously didn't see J.J. Galbraith on Saturday. Just wondering if you could provide any updates regarding his status or a possible timetable.
Yeah, he's continuing to get better. We hope at some point in time we're going to get him back. It's an injury that takes some time to heal. He's working hard at it. We were able to find ways to move the football with some consistency without him Saturday, and we'll be prepared to do that again moving forward if that's what we need to do.
Obviously, playing in Grand Forks, playing against UND up there is no easy task, even when they're not the strongest team in the world. Just how tough is it to play up there, and how do you overcome that road environment challenge? Yeah,
I say this all the time. It's tough to win on the road, in the Valley period, and and their spot is certainly all of that. They always have a good crowd. It's an environment that forces you to communicate and forces you to execute. You're going to get their very best when you play them at home, and so as a result, you've got to be at your very best in all three phases of the game, and that's going to be the focus this week, to be able to take a high level of execution on the road in the league.
Last one for me, just what are your quick impressions of UND on film, first look?
Yeah, they're they're a team that's always going to play hard. They're a well-coached football team. Offensively, been a little bit more balanced this year. They want to run the football. They've got talented running backs. A quarterback that has the ability to pull the ball down and make plays with his feet as well as throw it. Certainly very talented on the perimeter, one of the best wide receivers in the league. Defensively, they're a bit of a unique style of defense. I talked a little bit about this against Indiana State, where Indiana State's going to give you a lot of pressure looks. Well, North Dakota probably gives you even more pressure looks, and so you've got to be able to find ways to execute against that with a level of consistency that allows you to move the football and find a way or two that allows you to capitalize against some of those pressure looks.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
Alex Koff, go ahead.
Yeah, Coach, just to kind of add on that last question, I know North Dakota had a couple close losses before the SDSU loss last week. Is it kind of harder to prepare for a team that's been up and down throughout the season?
Yeah, you prepare the same way. I mean, they do what they do. Offensively, defensively, in the kicking game, they're a team that does a great job with their special teams, and so you got to prepare in all three phases. The thing that is, as I said before, they're going to play their very best, particularly when they're at home. They always do, which just means you've got to be on top of your game and be ready to execute at a high level.
And then you guys had a great rushing attack against Indiana State again. How much promise is it nice to see with Charles Pierre continually getting better?
Yeah, I don't know what it is about Indiana State, but that's 2 years in a row where he's had an 80-yard plus run against Indiana State, and Charles is capable of doing that. He's got the level of speed that when he gets into the open, he can outrun people. He and Travis have been a great combination. It's been fun to watch them. One will have from a yardage standpoint, one has a better game than the other one. It seems like every other week. But Charles keeps getting better. He's seen things well. Runs with great vision. I think the thing that's different, he's a little bit stronger this year, so he's breaking more tackles and demonstrated that when he gets to that final level, he can turn a short gain or a medium gain into a longer one.
And then we spoke briefly after the Indiana State game about your front four and how they can generate pressure. What are you going to be looking for from them in this UND game?
Well, to be good against the run to start with. North Dakota's got talented running backs. We're going to have to tackle well. We're going to have to play the run well against the things that they do from a run scheme standpoint. And then just like last week, a quarterback that's mobile. You got to do a great job of pressuring them when they're throwing and in the pocket, and if we can have success doing that with our front four, it allows us to do some different things coverage-wise.
Awesome. Thank you, Coach.
Yep.
Jay Elson, go ahead.
Hey, Coach.
Hey, Jay.
You talked a little bit about the defense already and just the fact that, what it takes to shut out teams in the Valley. But the fact of the matter is, it's never been done where you guys have done it twice in a year. Just wondering where, when you're doing and accomplishing things like that on that side of the ball, where does this unit rank for you? You've coached a long time in terms of quality defensive play.
Well, I think number one, they're a unit that has gotten better every week. Starting out, we knew we were going to be good up front. We've got a lot of experience there, and those up front guys have been all that we've expected them to be. Really high-level players. The linebacker core was going to be new. That group continues to improve and has become group that's playing at a high level in between a very experienced secondary. And so, we felt like we had the kind of leadership at all levels of the defense to be a good defense. Coach Johansson and that defensive staff have done a great job of preparing our guys every week, and those guys are preparing with great focus. I think one of the things that you see with that defensive unit too is, if we do happen to give up a big play, which hasn't been that often, and our team gets into the red zone, our defense, they're going to play all the way, whether it's 4th and a foot or 1st and 10 backed up, they're gonna play and play hard, and we're finding ways to stop teams in situations where other defenses might give up points, and our guys are taking a lot of pride in that regard.
Talk a little bit about Saturday. Holding a team to less than 0 in rushing is pretty tough.
Yeah.
Especially when they have a running quarterback, because it just adds an element to their running game that not every team has. So, can't imagine that's been something you've been a part of a ton, just because it doesn't happen very often. But that was some performance against the run on Saturday, and something not like we've seen from USC or very many teams. Period.
Yeah, and I think if you watch the line of scrimmage, that told the story. We were knocking the line of scrimmage back almost every snap, and for a team that wants to run the football, if you're able to do that with your front, it just really squashes all the run lanes, and our guys tackled well, and I've been a part of a couple of games, honestly, over my career, where we've been able to do that defensively, but certainly that performance on Saturday demonstrated in a lot of ways the way that this team is capable of playing, and I know that group wants to continue to keep getting better, and will be challenged in different ways this week against North Dakota.
You kind of alluded to the struggles in Grand Forks a little bit earlier. Does it help to have gone to Youngstown and gotten that monkey off your back just to draw like comparisons going into that situation? Just because some places are just hard for teams to go and win, and this is the second one now. You've got a chance to kind of exercise a demon in a way.
Yeah, and winning in environments on the road. Youngstown, obviously we hadn't won there. I don't know how well, because your guys are always rotating through. I don't know how well your guys really all know that, but certainly your experienced guys understand. But it just points to the understanding of how well you have to play. And a year ago, at North Dakota State, the whole place that none of our guys had won that were playing on that team. Youngstown's the same way. You go out, you got to execute, and it's the same way, this week at North Dakota. Our guys are going to have to go out and execute at an extremely high level. Every play is going to be important. But that's the way this team has been playing. They understand that every play is an important play, and we got to have that kind of focus and that kind of intensity Saturday.
Teams, get into matchups, and this, differs week to week based on the opponent, I'm sure. But do you feel like there's been times where you guys have maybe just almost been feeling the opponent out a little bit, and it's taken a little bit longer than I'm sure you're comfortable with to get going? Like Saturday, we saw you hit them hard and quick, and then it got into a little bit of just a back and forth where nobody was doing much of anything for a bit, and then you got to figure back out, and then it was off to the races from there. Is that one part as you continue through toward the end of this regular season, just in terms of execution, making sure that's there a little bit more consistently from the start?
Yeah, I think if there was one thing that we were disappointed with offensively in the first half, we had a couple of conversion opportunities on drives during the first half that we didn't convert on. We got stopped on a 4th and 1.5 yards. Giving Indiana State credit, we didn't execute the way we needed to keep that drive alive. Had another third and shorter distance on another drive. So from that standpoint, certainly, third down's important down. We could have executed a little bit better. I think the one thing that we did is we got settled in a little bit on our run game based on some of the things that they were doing pressure-wise. As a result, our run game was much more consistent, going through from midway through the second quarter on. And sometimes you do that, Everybody in this league's got good coaches. Their game plan's going to be good. And sometimes you have to make some subtle adjustments and find those things that are working both offensively and defensively. And I think our staff has done a good job of focusing on those things when we find out what's going to work best.
Don't want to obviously deflect the attention from you and your program here, but just obviously the news yesterday with Mark Farley deciding to call it a career after this year. You've coached against him a long time. Just any thoughts on him and all that he's meant to the Valley and to FCS football in general? Yeah,
I've known Mark for a long time. Our paths crossed early on when I was at Wartburg, just 15 miles up the road from northern Iowa, and have a great deal of respect for him and the work that he's done, not just at University of Northern Iowa, but the work that he's done in FCS football. He's built that place into be one of the name recognition programs of FCS football, and wish him the best, certainly. Am I a little bit surprised? I don't know, maybe, but he's certainly accomplished a lot there, and left his imprint at Northern Iowa and on FCS football.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Yep.
And Zach Board, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Good.
Aiden had, I know he had a bit of I guess you could say light work, considering I think he got, obviously the way the game went, but some of his best throws, I think, during this last game, that one to Carter is one of the best I've seen all year with that touchdown. And I think even if you go back to the SDSU game, just the fact he didn't take any sacks in that game, and some of the plays that, frankly, he had a couple throws that were taken away from him in that game that were incredible plays. He put a lot of pressure on himself coming into this season. Where do you think he's improved just beyond what we're seeing statistically? Where do you think he's really gotten better this season?
He's really improved as a I don't like to use the word manager, but as a system leader. He's changing and calling a number of plays at the line of scrimmage, more so than what we've ever done here. And his ability to do that has made us a much more effective offense than we were a year ago. Add to that I think he's throwing the ball extremely accurately. I think recognizing coverage and where he's going with the football at a level that's much higher than at any other point in time in his career here is allowing him to get the ball out quicker. And I think that throw that you're talking about to Carter there in the 2-minute situation was a perfect example of that. Recognized the coverage immediately, got rid of the football, put it in a great spot that resulted in a touchdown that really was I think a turning point in that game, and that separating it there before half. So, he's playing at a high level mentally as well as physically.
I hate to harp on this, but obviously the other guys got their questions in before me. Going to Grand Forks, the program actually has not won there since 1985. There was obviously a slight break in between. But, as Jay kind of mentioned, you got rid of the the quote unquote demon of winning in Youngstown. And you mentioned it. You won at North Dakota State. I know, next week when you guys play the Bison, I don't think the program has beaten NDSU at home in a long time. These guys have kind of, these seniors especially, they've kind of spread a lot of new ground for this program. They've overcome a lot of things that had previously been hurdles beyond the execution. And I know they kind of have to keep looking week to week, but what does it take to kind of develop that, or do you have to have that attitude? It seems like they kind of there has to be somewhat of an attitude of enjoying kind of breaking down some of these barriers and overcoming these things that have been challenges in the past. Do they have an attitude of that where they kind of enjoy overcoming some of these things that had previously been hurdles within the program?
Well, it's a team that has great leadership. It's a team that's playing with confidence. A team that understands what you have to do to win, and they understand that when you go on the road, it just takes that much more. And so they believe in each other. It's one of the things that we talk about as one of the core things in our program, that winning starts with belief, and the fact that you believe in each other and take that with you, and so from that standpoint, whether you're playing someplace on the road where you haven't won, or playing a team that you haven't beaten, they understand it's about how we play and nothing else. And so that's been our focus from week to week, just be a better football team than we were the week before.
Finally, that kind of answers my next question, but obviously you have a really good you know Bubba Schweigert as well as anybody in this league, having worked with them in Duluth. Certainly they're in a bit of a rough situation with the way things have gone, and the loss this past week more than likely ends their playoff hopes, but it's going to be their senior day. This is going to be obviously senior day. They're going to put everything on the line in their last home game. How much different is it going in when they've changed kind of their offense from what you've seen the last couple of years, and knowing as well that, like I said, you're going to get probably their last best shot in their last game at home?
Well, I think every place we go, we expect to get everybody's best. That's and understand up there, the fact that the way they play at home and the kind of program that they're going to be well prepared. They're going to be ready to play at a high level, and that's what we have to be. We have to be well prepared. We have to be ready to play at a high level. Kind of game where every play is going to count, and we got to be ready to make every play our best.
Do you and Bubba ever in the off season share any? Do you still have any? I don't want to say side wagers, but do you have any friendly battles, friendly conversations, anything in the off season? I mean, like I said, you got such a long history, and I would assume friendship that I'm guessing. The offseason, you kind of compare notes, or just kind of have any fun conversations when these games are said and done?
We talk once in a while. Obviously football coaches, their schedules are such that we're all doing different things at different times. But we talk once in a while. Most of the time when we talk, honestly, it's about things that are going on in the future of this ever-changing world of Division I football. I have the utmost respect for him and the person that he is, and their staff and how well they prepare their football team.